Hello, everyone, and welcome to 3 Words, a bite-sized podcast about the significant and yet very strategic choices that you can make, that I can make, that we can make together in order to become the best version of ourselves. My name is Dr. Michael Brown, and I am the host of 3 Words, and I am here with my dear friend Casey Greenawalt, and today we are going to have a conversation with you in the midst of, if I may say, a global pandemic. And so we are safely socially distanced, but we wanted to continue with our episodes and continue with our 3 Words podcast because this is an unprecedented time. And we want to continue to provide encouragement and inspiration and authenticity and transparency about what it means and what it looks like, even in the midst of challenging days, to be the best version of ourselves. So Casey, always a pleasure being with you. You're one of my most favorite, articulate, dynamic life coaches and communicators.
Thanks,
so I'm excited to be able to have this conversation with you today. So I will
Appreciate
do the
that.
honors, give you the honors to be able to share with our listeners and viewers the 3 words for this particular episode.
Our 3 words for today's conversation are look your best. Michael, you got that covered. See you later.
Well, you set the standard for fashion, my friend.
Yeah,
but
right.
It's funny, even as if you're watching on YouTube, you may notice Casey's and my hair a little longer than it usually is.
Man.
Because obviously we can't go to the barber at this point in time. No hairstylists available during this pandemic. And that's okay. But it's an important conversation. Now, some would say, wow, Michael, you oftentimes are choosing 3-word phrases that sound deep and important and that really matter. And now you're choosing, isn't fashion a shallow conversation or looking your best, or what is this all about? What are your thoughts about that, Casey?
Yeah, I think initially, right, like that's probably the jerk. You're like, oh, that seems a little shallow. Like we're more than our looks, right? Like we're feelings, we're emotions, we're spiritual beings, which is totally true. But I think we have to acknowledge a part of ourselves is the clothes that we wear, is how we get dressed, what we look like, right?
Well, and not only clothes, but just who we are being and we present ourselves as a whole physical dimension of our life.
Right.
The physical dimension is one of the 12 dimensions of our life. We talk a lot about in DB coaching as we've conceptualized it.
Yeah. So it's important. It is important. And so it's worth at least a conversation about. So I'm excited to see where this conversation goes.
Well, let's talk about some different dynamics around this conversation of looking your best. So first impressions.
Yeah. First impressions, they matter, right?
I think.
I think so too. I remember the first moment I met you. I remember we were at Jed's.
You remember what I was wearing?
I don't remember what you were wearing, but I do remember you looking like you were a business professional. You had a sports jacket on and jeans, probably similar to what you're wearing right now. But those impressions matter. And beyond your clothes, like your impression, what you look like, it matters. You remember those things. So I remember meeting you for the first time. I'm sure our listeners, if you have a significant other, you probably remember meeting your significant other for the first time, a boss, coworkers, like you remember those things. You don't remember everything they're wearing and every part of them and what they look like. But part of my job is I meet a lot of new people all the time. And so I'm constantly interacting with first impressions. Do you know what I do to remember people's names? I write their names down on my phone and I write something about their outward appearance. So I remember it. Yeah. I'm not brutal or rude with it. Just kind, wearing a red shirt or had a mustache or whatever it may be.
Well, and you're not talking just about fashion.
Yeah.
You're talking about how someone presents themselves.
Totally.
Which is a part of their communication.
Yeah.
Part of their presence,
Yes.
how they stand,
Yeah.
whether they shake your hand, which again, will we ever shake hands again? I don't know, but
Fist bumps.
Lots of elbows
and fist bumps, air hugs.
Air hugs.
Yeah.
There we go. Air hugs. But I think in many ways it's about dressing the part.
Yeah.
Dressing the part for not only who you are and what you want to accomplish, but dressing the part for who you want to become. I think there's some interesting research out there that has really shown that first impressions matter.
Yeah.
That how you present yourself, the choices you make in regards to grooming and hairstyle and fashion, does it actually make that positive first impression?
Yeah.
There's some interesting notions out there in regards to career advancement.
Totally.
And how we present ourselves. And again, I think we can present ourselves well. We can look our best without spending exorbitant amount of money on clothes.
Absolutely. I remember the first time I wore a suit. So for me in high school, and maybe some of our listeners probably feel this way too. You may be hearing this conversation and thinking like, that doesn't matter. Like I just throw a sport coat on and a jacket and I'm fine and I get out the door and I'm ready to go to work or whatever that looks like for you. When I was in high school, I wore the same 2 pair of pants every day. We had a dress code. So I wore the same 2 pair of pants every day. I would just rotate those pairs of pants and I had a flip fleece in my locker that I would throw on. This thing maybe got washed like once or twice my whole entire high school career. It was disgusting.
Interesting.
But I would wear it every day. At that point in my life, though, I didn't understand that my appearance mattered as much as it did. I had a scholarship that I had an interview for, and I liked interviews. I was like, oh, I can talk to people. My mom says to me, are you going to go buy a suit? I was like, no, I'm not going to buy a suit. I'm just going to wear a polo or whatever. I'll wear my fleece that's in my locker that I have only washed twice all of my high school career. And she kind of stopped me and was like, no, we're going to go get you a suit. We didn't spend a ton of money or anything. We went down to the local tailor down the street, got a suit, got it looking nice on me. And I remember walking into that interview. I don't think I ever felt that way before. I felt confident. I felt like I belonged sitting across that table from these big wigs in education who all had suits on and little pins on their jackets telling me what they did. And I remember leaving that and just having this feeling of like, I like being in a suit. I'm not more important. I feel like I fit and I feel good. I had a nice haircut. I had a watch on. Like I felt good.
So what I'm hearing, Casey, is looking your best is not just for the other person's perception.
100%.
But it's for your own sense of identity and self-confidence, that looking your best, if I can say it this way, is a gift to yourself.
And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money or even time. It's just intentionality. It's just taking a look at what you're going to wear tomorrow. Is it ironed? Does it look good? Do I need to wash it beforehand? What do I need to do to make sure that tomorrow, take 15 minutes, that I'm going to look nice, that I'm going to look well? I need a haircut. I need a haircut right now. I know that.
Well, now, again, you've just gone right back to the very core of what we talk about and what we emphasize and what we champion here at DMB Coaching. And that is the power of intentionality, the power of the next choice. So in the same way that we would say the night before you go to bed, you plot out your day and you think in regards to your schedule. You decide in advance, what am I going to eat tomorrow? Am I going to choose food that tastes good or food that makes me feel good? Am I going to choose food that is truly fuel and will help me be the best version of myself in regards to energy? What I'm also hearing you say is you add to that list, what does it mean to look your best? Because our physical dimension, though all the other dimensions have maybe deeper, more meaningful qualities, or seemingly so.
They seem to.
It's the first impression. It's that which carries all of those. Without the physical dimension, without my feet here on this planet, without me being here in this space physically, if I'm not taking care of myself, but also presenting myself in a certain way, all the others, those amazing emotional dimensions and spiritual dimensions and moral dimensions, and they're going to be maybe overshadowed or maybe even hidden because someone can't get past what they
100%.
see. So let's have this conversation.
Yeah.
What do we do with this notion that sometimes we put too much stock in how I look?
Well, because we do.
Yes. So
we absolutely
too much emphasis in this outward presentation, this notion, and it's all over social media. I want to look this way. I want my body to look this way. I want my clothes to look this way. I want to present this way. I want my makeup, my hair, fill in the blanks.
So there's often this conversation. I feel like this is kind of what you're getting at is, people will often say there's a balance, right? Like there's a balance in life, which is probably true. Even in this conversation, like, do I care about what I wear? Do I not care about what I wear? And how I look, how I present myself. I've heard it said before, and I think it's better to understand life. Life is full of tension points. It's a rope pulling you two different ways. And it's not about putting enough on a scale on each side to weigh it out. It's about knowing when I'm letting that pull me a little more this way or a little more this way. Yeah. Example, you got a Sunday, you're not doing anything. Maybe you just got home from church. You put some sweatpants on and a t-shirt. It's okay. Like that's probably the appropriate time to wear that. You're not trying to impress anybody. There's no one that you're trying to look nice for or present yourself. It's Monday morning, you're getting ready for work. Well, last night, did you spend a little bit of time thinking about that? Not 4 hours, not 5 hours getting ready in the morning, not looking at yourself 18 times in the mirror, making sure you look okay, sending selfies to all your friends, making sure they approve of your outfit too. Like there's a line. And most of the time you know what that line is. And life is all about living in that tension. And that goes for looking your best too. Look in the mirror before you leave. Like,
so if you're spending 3 hours prepping for your day,
that's probably
the tension's going in a extreme.
That's probably too much. And in reflecting yourself, I think what's true about a lot of these conversations often too is, do you have people in your life speaking into that dimension of your life? So for example, if I feel like, or maybe you're listening, you're thinking, maybe I do spend too much time in the morning getting ready. Let me ask my friends what they do. Like, see what they have to say about this conversation. So I think what's fun is all these conversations blend together usually, because that's what life is. It's principles that are true and they often blend together. But even in a conversation that can feel so shallow, looking your best, it's deeper than just wearing nice, expensive clothes.
Well, and it's not only I don't think it's shallow. I think it's perceived as sometimes shallow. I think it's really important. It's interesting. We do a lot of work on the college campus with athletics and so forth, but we also do work with executives and CEOs and vice presidents and board members. And I've heard from some of them how discouraged they are when a young man like yourself will show up on that interview with that new suit that his mom encouraged him to buy. And it's almost like bait and switch though. So I will do this for the moment.
Yeah.
I will do this. Not that you need to wear a suit every day, but it's almost like I did it to get the job. I did just enough, but yet now I'm not going to care as much, or I'm going to let that. And so I think in many ways it's maintaining that sense of awareness that how I look and how I feel when I look a certain way, it really does truly matter. And I think it makes a fantastic impression, not only at the beginning, but every step of the way, to be able to say of someone, you know what? That individual, when they come to work or when they are showing up at me, they're just all in, not just in their preparation, but in their presentation of who they are.
Right. Yeah, that's so good. I think for right now too, a lot of people working from home, sitting in front of a computer screen, it's really easy. And I'm guilty of this too. It's like, how do I look my best from the waist up? Cause that's all what you're seeing. So it's still like putting on a nice dress shirt or throwing a watch on, or, if you're a female, putting some earrings or a necklace on. Like there's all these different ways just to feel a little bit better. I know for me, the first couple weeks of this, I'm sitting in front of a Zoom meeting and it's easy for me to put a hoodie on and some sweatshirt or sweatpants and just be like slouching in my chair, and instead of waking up, getting ready, put a nice shirt on, do my hair, shave my face, put for me a watch. I've said this twice now, but putting a watch on makes me feel like I'm ready to go. Put a little cologne on too. My wife's the only one smelling me, but taking a second and just being conscious of those things, even though I'm not going anywhere, I promise it's going to make that work experience, that meeting, sitting in front of a computer screen, you're just going to feel better.
And I think that's the point of this whole podcast, is that looking your best is not about impressing the whole world.
No.
And trying to be someone you're not, and trying to do the bait and switch, like, hey, I'm just going to get far enough in with the way I look and how I present, and then obviously let it all kind of fall. Yeah. But it's about feeling your best. Yeah. It's about being able to tackle your day and to conquer the world, particularly during this pandemic when it feels like, wow, the mundane and the day after day feeling this way, stuck in our homes and working remotely. Yeah. I think this really is a relevant conversation. So Casey, thank you for being obviously super fashionable and being so sharp dressed, but also I think that's really made an impression on me, but also others that you interact with. And you really are the one to speak about this, but you've helped us even dive deeper beyond the mere surface idea of fashion and fitness and cologne and so forth, but actually it's an important conversation. So I'm glad we had it even during this pandemic. And so a reminder to our listeners and to our viewers, even during this turbulent, unprecedented time, let's invest in ourselves. Let's feel great about ourselves by looking our best. For life coaching, consulting services, or to hire a keynote speaker, please visit dmbcoaching.com.